Pathways to the Common Core Accelerating Achievement. The first big idea of this book would be literal understanding and text complexity, which deals with standards 1 and 10. It says that text complexity is the hallmark of the Common Core state standards because the students need to be able to read more complex texts. The students won't be able to explain the main ideas of the text that they read if they can't comprehend what they're reading. The chapter explains that accuracy without strong literal comprehension is not reading. The state standard suggestions for grade level appropriate text is they want you to review the list of the exemplar texts representing approximate levels of text difficulty that the standards say are sufficient, which that would be provided in Appendix B of the state standards ELA document. And then also you can view the Lexile levels charts as well. The standards expectations for literal comprehension, most importantly, the students need to be able to grasp what the text actually says and suggests, and the students need to be able to retell and cite the text that they read. The standards suggest that young readers are ready to read for meaning. Standards 2 through 9 dealing with reading literature and it says that reading literature involves learning from the characters in the stories and looking to books for lessons in courage, determination, and integrity. The students should be reading for key ideas and details to ensure that they're reading for meaning. By going off of the standards, the students should be reading for craft and structure also. The students will go beyond the text and read between the lines to help to have a deeper understanding of the text. They'll be able to make inferences from the text also. The third big idea is reading informational texts. The state standard stresses the importance of reading information reading, which is reading to learn. You follow an author's reasoning and read to analyze claims and support those claims with evidence. The students will read for key ideas and details and making logical inferences. The standards also have students read to analyze how individual events and ideas develop and interact over the course of a text. With these standards, the students will be able to read to integrate knowledge and ideas, and also think across informational texts. One teaching strategy to adapt and use to teach reading comprehension in my instructional sequence, I would use reading for craft and structure. The book gives an example from Charlotte's Web to explain craft and structure. So if you were teaching this to your students, you would first tell them that they need to pay attention to the language while they're reading. Think about some of the words and which ones matter more than others. They can even take notes on their margins of their papers about what they think the text can mean in different ways. Also ask yourself, what do you need to notice as you reread the text? Also show them concrete examples. So we'll use a sentence from Charlotte's Web that was also used in the book to show you. So the sentence says, "The kitchen table was set for breakfast and the room smelled of coffee, bacon, and wood smoke from the stove." Okay, so if you read the sentence carefully and pull out the details to analyze, then reread it with craft and structure. So notice the words kitchen table, wood smoke, stove, coffee, and bacon. All of the words combine to create a sense of security, family, and prosperity. You can infer that the family's not starving. They settle by the stove. They sit together to eat breakfast at the table where there's plenty of food. Also, you could infer that the home isn't well, like it's not well for the pigs. So for Charlotte, for example, they're eating the bacon. Charlotte lives with them on the farm. Therefore, you would probably think, oh, okay, so maybe this pig is next or something to be eaten. So you can get all of that from the text if you kind of read between the lines. So also, you would explain to the students that they just need to pause for a moment and notice what's already there. Pick out parts and details of the sentences and reread them, explain to them what it would be to read between the lines. And then analyzing the details can really help the story become more vivid. And some instructional variables that you should consider when you're implementing that strategy. You should definitely know the students' reading levels and make sure that the books that they're reading aren't too complex or too low of a reading level. And then practice reading with craft and structure as a class before letting the students do this themselves. So you can have, as a class, maybe read paragraphs and then pull sentences out or pull details out of the story, and then have discussions about the actual details and see what you as a class or just partners can get from the story. Like, what else can you add to the story or infer from the story?